Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen. Today we're going to continue with our Texas Chainsaw stuff, and we will cover the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. For those of you who actually are familiar with the original source material, this is pretty much the original source material jazzed up for the modern time. I've been interested in this film back and forth for a while. I mean, it's a pretty cool remake. I mean, in a time where there's remakes of a lot of things, Halloween, other various things going on, seeing a Michael Bay remake of a horror movie is definitely an interesting experience. Now, I watched the prequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at the beginning. I watched that actually before I got to this film. So that being said, it is something that was a good setup, because it really picks up not long where the old one left off. And if you hadn't watched the beginning, it definitely fills in it actually leaves you with a few questions that are definitely answered from that other movie. So if you get a chance, definitely watch that before you watch this one. So again, much like the last one, family on this road trip, they're looking for some place to stop. They stop at this gas station, and then of course, unlike the other movie, this girl gets in the car, does some things that cause them to have to try and figure out a solution to this, which ends up with calling the police, which ends up being a mistake in this particular aspect, and eventually leads them to the creepy family that we know and love from the Texas Chainsaw series. With that, the the Michael Bay adaptation is actually pretty darn good for what we see. I actually do enjoy the acting in this for the most part. The guy who actually plays the cop, he is very intense, and you actually do feel that fright that comes from those people there. It's not plagued with a lot of the Michael Bay explosions, American flags, and general racism that you see in a Michael Bay flick. This is not Transformers. But at the same time, we do get a general feel, sort of a depth that we didn't quite get with the original film. A lot of questions that are unanswered are answered not just with this, but with the prequel. In general, I think that the chemistry definitely works better. It's not just creepy stuff thrown on you, but actually worked up in a way that gives you a little bit more understanding as to what's going on with this family. Now, that being said, I'm not exactly sure this is a family we want to know. Whereas the original really kind of covered this aspect through what's the word? Well, the original covered this aspect by using shock. You just kind of hit like bam, 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 bam with what you see, and it keeps you on your feet. Well, it keeps you on your toes, I should say. You're off balance, and it really works for the film. Here, you're not as off balance. You know what's coming. You know who these people are. And you're sitting there going, no, don't trust those people. Get out. Get out. And meanwhile, the people are, let's hide behind the wall of chainsaws. And you're like, ah. And you're sitting there wondering what's going on, why they haven't died sooner. The movie is definitely gorier than the original. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it is what it is. I feel like the end was more of a bit of a grab at things, and in general, I felt like the quality was a little bit lower on that end. But in general, this is a solid horror film, and out of Michael Bay's cabinet of explosive movies, I would say that this is probably one of the better ones. So, with that being said, I would give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Remake a 7 out of 10. Definitely try and find yourself a copy. I will link to whatever copy I can find below. If you're really ambitious, you can go and find the big copy, which is really good. It's got a beautiful special edition that folds out into like a little chainsaw. Definitely, I mean, it's worth getting if you get the chance. So, again, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And what were your thoughts? I mean, do you like the original better than this remake? Or do you say, you know what, this remake really improves upon it, it answers questions that I didn't have before? Or is this one of those cases where you're sitting there saying, well, no, you can't really judge this without its prequel? And I'll be covering the prequel later on. And if you can't really judge this unless you judge the prequel, then definitely let me know. Does that make this as a whole a better film than the original? So with that, you've been watching Septum Sin. I thank you for coming in, and I hope to see you later.